13 driving habits that ruin your car and drain your wallet by Carhelpout, your local certified mobile mechanic. All right, let's talk straight. You spend a ton of money on your car, right? It's probably one of the biggest purchases you'll ever make, besides a house. So why would you do things every day that are slowly killing it? It's crazy. Most people think that rust, bad weather, high mileage. But after decades working on cars, the number one cause of costly preventable repairs is the person behind the wheel. That's right, it's you. Don't worry. I'm not here to yell. I'm here to save you a boatload of cash. Nobody ever tells you this stuff. When you learn to drive, they teach parallel parking. They teach merging onto the highway. They don't teach that how you hold the shifter or how you hit the gas pedal could cost you thousands. Mechanics like me see the results every single day. A car shows up with a shot transmission at 60,000 miles. The owner is clueless. They think they got a lemon. But 9 times out of 10, it's not the car. It's driving habits that killed the transmission. We're going through the most common and destructive habits people don't even notice. Think of me as your Carhelpout, your local certified mobile mechanic. I'm giving you preventative car maintenance tips and tricks to keep it out of the local shop. Let's start with 2 really common ones I see all the time. First, resting your hand on the gear shifter. I get it. It feels comfortable, like a little armrest for your driving hand. But if you're driving a manual transmission car, you're slowly killing it. Inside that transmission, you've got these things called selector forks. They're designed to make contact with a rotating collar for just a moment when you shift gears. When you rest your hand on the shifter, you're putting a little bit of constant pressure on that fork. This causes it to rub against the rotating parts when it's not supposed to. That rubbing leads to premature wear and tear. It won't happen overnight, but over thousands of miles, you're grinding away metal. You might not even feel it happening. It's just a tiny bit of pressure, right? But that tiny pressure adds up. Eventually, those selector forks wear down. It means you'll start having trouble shifting gears. It might pop out of gear while you're driving, which is not only annoying, but also dangerous. The fix? It's not a simple adjustment. It means a full transmission rebuild, which can cost you thousands of dollars. The solution is simple. Get your hand off the shifter unless you are actively changing gears. Both hands on the wheel is safer anyway. Now, let's talk about your other foot, your left foot. This is for all you automatic drivers. This is for all you manual drivers. It's called riding the brake. This is when you rest your foot on the brake pedal while you're driving along. You might not even be pushing it hard enough to feel the car slow down, but you're pushing it just enough to activate the brake lights. And more importantly, engage the brake pads against the rotors ever so slightly. This creates constant friction, and friction creates heat. Your braking system is designed to handle a lot of heat, but only for short bursts when you're actually stopping. When you ride the brake, you're generating constant, low-level heat. This can cause your brake pads to wear out incredibly fast, so keep that left foot planted firmly on the floor or the dead pedal where it belongs. Are you in a hurry? Do you treat every stoplight like the starting line of a drag race? Jackrabbit starts. You floor the gas the second it turns green. That's one of the fastest ways to empty your wallet. It puts stress on almost every part of your drivetrain. The engine, the transmission, the drive shaft, the axles, and the tires. This isn't what they're built for on a regular basis. It's like screaming at someone and telling them to sprint a marathon. That sudden, violent force strains your engine mounts and your transmission mounts. Over time, mounts can crack and fail. Clunking engine, expensive repair. It's also brutal on transmission internals, clutch packs in an automatic, or the clutch in a manual. You're also killing your tires. Tread wears down much faster. And for what? To get to the next red light 5 seconds sooner? Your fuel economy plummets too. You're paying more at the pump. On the other end, slamming on your brakes at the last second. That also puts massive stress on your braking system. Brakes convert motion into heat through friction. Hard braking generates a massive spike in heat. Repeated hard braking overheats pads and rotors. That can cause rotors to warp. You feel it as a pulsating, vibrating steering wheel or brake pedal when you stop. Warped rotors aren't safe. They need replacement, and that costs money. The smart way is to anticipate your stops and look ahead. See a red light a quarter mile away? Take your foot off the gas. Let the car coast. The engine will naturally slow the car engine braking. Your car can't talk to you in English, so it uses a different language noises, vibrations, those little lights on your dashboard. Ignoring them is like putting your fingers in your ears when your doctor is trying to tell you that you have a serious health problem. That little check engine light isn't just a suggestion. It's a warning that the car's computer has detected a problem. It could be something as simple as a loose gas cap, which is an easy and free fix. Or it could be a sign that your catalytic converter is failing, which is a very, very expensive fix. The longer you ignore it, the more damage you could be doing. A small problem like a faulty oxygen sensor might only cost $100 or so to replace. But if you ignore it, the car's computer gets bad information. It might start dumping too much fuel into the engine. Unburned fuel goes into your exhaust and can overheat and destroy your catalytic converter. That part can cost well over $1,000 to replace. So you turned a small problem into a giant one just by ignoring a little light. Get a cheap code reader online or stop by an auto parts store. Most of them will read the code for you for free. Knowledge is power. And in this case, it's also money. The same goes for strange noises. You know your car's usual sounds. I see this all the time. People drive around with the gas light on for days, trying to squeeze every last drop out of the tank before they fill up. They think they're saving time or waiting for gas prices to drop by a penny. This is a terrible, terrible idea. You are actively damaging a critical and expensive part of your car. The fuel pump. Your car's electric fuel pump is usually located inside the gas tank. It's designed to be submerged in gasoline. That gasoline acts as a coolant, keeping the electric motor of the pump from overheating. When you run the tank down to empty, the fuel pump becomes exposed to the air. It can't cool itself properly, so it starts to get hot. Do this over and over again, and you will burn out that fuel pump motor. Replacing a fuel pump is not a cheap date. The part itself can be several $100s, and because it's inside the fuel tank, the labor can be extensive and expensive. You might have to pay a mechanic to drop the entire gas tank just to replace it. All this just to avoid stopping for gas for a day or two. If you're struggling to come up with cash for an emergency auto repair, you're not alone. That's why auto car repair loans offer a convenient way to gain quick access to the money you need when an emergency pops up. With loans up to $2,500 to $5,000. Visit carhelpout.com/repair loan to get started today. Don't forget, if you ever need to sell your house fast and as-is condition anywhere in the U.S., either to stop foreclosure, avoid county tax auction, or unwanted house, go to boracina.com/carhelpout and get a relief under house burden. Don't forget, if your local small business or good service website needs more traffic exposure from Google, Yahoo, Bing, and other search engines, go to carhelpout.com/SEO. They can help you when it comes to local SEO and online digital marketing service consulting. Over the years, sediment can settle at the very bottom of your fuel tank. Over the years, dirt can settle at the very bottom of your fuel tank. Over the years, even tiny bits of rust can settle at the very bottom of your fuel tank. As long as you have a decent amount of fuel in the tank, this gunk mostly stays put at the bottom. The fuel pump's pickup is designed to be just above this layer of sediment. When you run the tank down to the last gallon, the fuel sloshes around and stirs up all that junk. Imagine you just woke up, you're still groggy, your body is stiff, you haven't had your coffee yet. Would you want someone to scream at you to immediately get up and sprint a 100-yard dash at full speed? Of course not. You'd probably pull a muscle or worse. That's exactly what you're doing to your car's engine when you start it up on a cold morning and immediately drive off aggressively. Your engine's lifeblood is oil. After sitting overnight, most oil drains to the oil pan. When you start the car, the oil pump has to pick up that oil and circulate it through the engine. It lubricates critical moving parts, pistons, bearings, camshafts. This takes about 30 to 60 seconds depending on temperature and oil type. During that time, internal parts aren't fully lubricated. If you immediately rev high or accelerate hard, you cause metal-on-metal wear on unprotected parts. Microscopic damage builds up, shortening engine life. Don't idle 10 minutes like old carbureted cars. That's wasting gas and can hurt modern engines. Best practice: start the car. Let it idle 30-60 seconds while you put on your seatbelt. This one makes me cringe every time I see it. Someone is in a hurry, backing out of a parking spot. They're still rolling backward at a couple of miles per hour, and they slam the gear selector from reverse straight into drive. Or they're pulling into a spot, still rolling forward, and they shift into reverse. You might hear a little clunk, or you might hear a horrible crunch sound. What you're hearing is the sound of your transmission screaming in pain. Your car's transmission is a beautiful, complex piece of engineering designed to change gears, but it has one major rule. It's meant to do so when the car is stationary or when all the parts are moving in the same direction. Inside your automatic transmission are bands and clutches and planetary gears. When you shift from reverse to drive while the car is still moving backward, you're forcing the transmission to stop the entire weight of the car and completely reverse its internal rotating parts instantly. This puts a massive shock load on the entire drivetrain. You're causing extreme stress on the transmission bands, the clutches, the gear sets, the engine mounts, the transmission mounts. It's the automotive equivalent of running one way and having someone tackle you from the opposite direction. The roads aren't getting any smoother and potholes seem to be everywhere. Hitting one at speed can feel like a small explosion going off under your car, and that's honestly not far from the truth in terms of the forces involved. Your car's suspension system struts, shocks, springs, and control arms is designed to absorb imperfections in the road to give you a smooth ride. But it has its limits. A deep, sharp-edged pothole delivers a sudden, violent impact that can overwhelm the system. This can bend a wheel rim, cause a bubble to form on the sidewall of your tire, or even blow the tire out completely. But the damage often goes deeper than just the wheel and tire. That massive impact is transferred directly to your suspension components. It can bend a control arm, which is a critical part that connects your wheel to the car's frame. It can blow the seals on your struts or shock absorbers. Every vehicle, from a giant pickup truck, has a specific payload capacity. This is the maximum weight of passengers and cargo that it's designed to carry safely. You can find this information on a sticker inside the driver's side door jamb. Many people ignore this completely. They think, if it fits, it ships. They load up their sedan with bags of cement for a weekend project or cram 8 friends into a car built for 5. This is a bad idea, not just for safety, but for the health of your car. Overloading puts a tremendous strain on virtually every component. The most immediate victims are your suspension and tires. The solution is just common sense. Know your vehicle's limits. If you need to haul something really heavy like a pallet of bricks. So, there you have it. A whole list of ways you might be secretly hurting your car and emptying your bank account without even knowing it. From the way you start the engine to the way you stop, from how you hold the shifter to how much junk you put in the trunk. It all adds up. These aren't complicated engineering principles. They're simple, common sense habits. Your car is a tough machine, but it's not invincible. It relies on you, the driver, to operate it in a way that doesn't cause unnecessary stress and premature wear. The difference between a car that dies at 100,000 miles and one that's still humming along at 250,000 often comes down to the person holding the keys. Think of it like your own health. You can eat junk food, never exercise, and ignore your doctor's advice, and you might feel fine for a while. But eventually, it's going to catch up with you in a big, expensive way. Driving your car harshly is the same thing.